Hello, 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 and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Happiness Retreat. I'm your host, Kimberly Treves, and today we have the good fortune to be in conversation with my dear friend and colleague, the beautiful and multi-talented Jenn Sherer, who is the conduit of the revolutionary practice of Spinefulness. Hello, Jenn, and thank you so very much for taking your time today to share with us.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to see you.
It's always a pleasure, always. So as this conversation is all about spirituality, the soul, and becoming the master of your own energy, I'm so happy you're here today to tell us all about the art and science of spinefulness and how it is a vehicle for transformation. So to get started, could you please tell us a bit about your background, your education, and what prompted you to become interested in the human spine?
Sure. Actually, so maybe I'll just start with my education to kind of get that over with. I studied product design engineering, which is out of mechanical engineering at Stanford University. And actually, that does play a little role, a role in how I interpreted what I learned about spinefulness, but more importantly, it's where my back pain began in college. Wow. And so that's really what started me on my path. And then on getting interested in the spine, and from studying engineering and then learning when I found the one practice or the one thing that actually really helped me with my back pain for good. And I studied with Noelle Perez, and she's a Parisian in Paris who just recently passed. But she came up with a paradigm that spinefulness is based on, where basically we learn how to balance our muscles and our bones. And that simple finding balance actually is what got rid of my back pain.
Interesting. So you were in pain. How did you become in pain? What was the impetus for your pain?
So I'll just describe the incident. So it was like a lot of back pain just happens in normal everyday life. You reach down for to pet a cat or grab a tissue, and all of a sudden something happens, your back goes out. You sneeze. And for me, I was riding my bike at college, which is something I did every day there. And for some reason, this day, I was biking up this hill that really didn't look like a hill. It's one of those non-hill hills that when you're walking, it doesn't feel like a hill, but when you're biking, it's a hill. So I stood up on my bike, and I had a backpack full of heavy books, and I just pressed somehow the wrong way. And so I just felt my back go, something, I would call it now, my back went out. I made it back to my dorm room, which was really luckily very close, walked to my room, and then the next thing I knew, my back was in spasm and I was on the floor. Definitely could not even move my legs to get up. I think my back spasmed for probably the next 2 or 3 hours, and I took it easy for like that whole entire week. So that began a whole slew of pain, which started only as back pain. And the first couple of years after that, I would get an episode every once or twice a year. It would last about a week. And then by the time I was 27, I had the pain had spread to beyond my back. So I had shoulder issues, my left shoulder, my left foot had a bunion on it. I was forming. My right knee was bothering me. I had neck pain, and also periodically I would get like an intense left-sided headache. So that's where my pain started, and I was just on this search to figure out how to get rid of my pain. And
so that's interesting, because a lot of people don't equate a specific injury in one area to years of having discomfort in that area, and then that discomfort affecting different parts of your body. But
yep,
that was the progression.
Well, that was the progression, and actually I didn't realize they were all related either myself to begin with. I just knew that I was in pain a lot and had a lot of tension. And I did what the doctors told me to do, which is, and the kind of the general notion out there is core strength. So I enrolled in Pilates classes, which I did for about 10 years before I found this work. And it helped in the beginning, but I kept practicing, because that's what the general notion is to keep increasing your core. And then I added yoga, because I was becoming increasingly inflexible. And all of this, I was attributing the pain, the inflexibility, I was attributing to aging and genetics. And I tried everything under the sun except for medical intervention. I didn't want to take drugs, and I was avoiding surgery, even though I was losing range of motion in my left shoulder. Wow. But I tried body work, acupuncture, all sorts of rolfing, everything, energy work, and everything helped and could release something, but it was not long lasting. So body work probably, it lasted about half an hour off the table, and then pain would come back. And I just, at that point in my life, I had this joke that I couldn't afford my own body, because I wanted to get a massage every day, but I could only justify it money and time-wise about once a month. So I was crawling from massage to massage once a month. So.
Wow. That's, yeah, and I love that you tried everything under the sun other than medication, because I think so often we run to get the medication and it does mask the pain, but it doesn't help you with your original problem. And as you already pointed out, your problem could then move from one point of your body to another point of your body, and you could end up worse off in the end than you started out. So tell me, what brought you to a Spinefulness class, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, so I went to a Spinefulness class. It was a sitting class, and it was basically more sold as like a posture class. And so I had heard from a mom that in my child's elementary school that she had taken this class, and I didn't really want to go to the class, because I thought, oh, why do I want to learn how to resit? I just do that every day. So, right. And at that time, the idea that posture could help anything was not around yet. So I went to the class, and I had this huge aha moment. We got placed into sitting, and at that point I had really tight quadriceps. So those are the muscles in the front of your thighs. And even though we didn't talk about quadriceps, we sat in a specific position, and all of a sudden my quadriceps were releasing. And I just couldn't believe it, because I had just spent, part of the reason why I was going to all the massage therapy and getting the body work was I was trying to find, it took me about 1.5 years to actually find a body worker that could release my quadriceps. And when they did so, it just was like one of those, I call it hurt so good. They would crank on 2 spots with a thumb in my leg, and it would just be so painful, but I would take it because it would give me relief of that. The muscle would actually relax. Mm-hmm. And then here I was in the class, and I was just sitting there, and it started relaxing, and I was like, what is going on with this magic? It just felt like magic, because I couldn't even I barely was just able to find a body worker that could release it. And now no one was touching me. I wasn't paying anyone to help me. And I just placed my butt in a specific position, and there was a release.
Wow. That had to be definitely one of the biggest aha moments of your life, because hello, you were in pain for so long, and now all of a sudden your pain was dissipating. So could you possibly, you do have a TED Talk where you go through some of the specifics. So if anyone is interested, they can certainly go there and see some of the technique. But for right now, for the video, could you demonstrate a little bit about just how to sit And could you explain it so that if someone is just hearing it via audio, they could get a picture in their mind of what you're trying to express?
Sure, I'd be happy to give a mini lesson, but I think it would help a little bit to kind of give a background on how and why spinefulness works.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So when I was in pain, I actually not only trying everything, I had bought a ton of products. So I'd buy the latest softer shoes that was going to help my foot pain, and the backrest that would help, and then implements, the newest chair, and I would spend all this money. But it just turns out that everyone has inside themselves the solution to mechanical pain. So I'm not talking about medical pain, which is, and we're not doctors, so I wanted to be clear about that. But if you have mechanically based pain, which is muscular or skeletal, and a good way to know is if your pain is mechanically based is if you do go get body work and it feels better, but the relief just doesn't last. So that's a really good indication. Another indication is that you have this sense that some people just come into my studios and they're like, I just have this sense that my tension's causing it, or I feel twisted and I need to get untwisted. These are all signs that your pain is mechanically based. So if it's medically based, it's definitely the doctors are the solution for that. So, and the answer is actually not an outside product, but our bones. So it just turns out that if you have a lot of mechanically based tension, it's an imbalance in the muscular skeletal system. And it's interesting that it's called the muscular skeletal system and not the skeletal muscular system. And I think it reflects the way we approach our bodies, that we want to do or contract things to help ourselves. It was kind of the loop I was caught in when I was trying to find solutions for my pain. I wanted to do something, I wanted to buy something or do an exercise to help myself. And it turns out that when their body, the muscles and the bones are imbalanced, it means the muscles are overworking or overly contracted, and the bone isn't able to be in the position to actually carry their load. So then when we add contraction on top of the problem, which is already contraction, we get into this downward spiral. So all we do with Spinefulness is you come in and we teach you bone positions so that you can use in your everyday life, skeletal positions. So how to sit so your hip socket starts realigning, how to sit so your spine is realigning and able to take on more work. And muscles speak through contraction. We know how to connect to our muscles. We contract, we can feel it. We're really in touch with our muscles, but bones are harder to feel. And it turns out that how we know the way our bones talk to us is also through our muscles. So if everything's fine, like when we were children, and most of us when we were children, we didn't have pain. So we just had this beautiful human instrument, our physical body, and we would use it, and it would always be there. And when I was in my depth of my pain, I would want my body to produce something and it would complain to me. It would give me pain. And I didn't realize back then it was my body saying, oh, that position is not helpful for a joint or a piece of my skeleton. And so what we're trying to do now is teach you how to be in positions where your positions are realigning your bones. And the way you know is if muscles start relaxing, like my quadricep muscle. When it relaxes, then you know a bone is taking back its work. So if signs that your bones are calling out for help are things like inflexibility, which is not a genetic thing. It's actually a sign that your body is protecting some joint.
So your muscle around that joint is staying contracted.
Yes, because it doesn't like it. There's a joint it doesn't even mean that it's misaligned. It just means that the way you're using the joint is kind of heading in the direction of misalignment. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's just, the tension is just there to ask you, oh, move me back, asking you to pay attention to the bone, to move it back to where it doesn't have to stress out a muscle. So inflexibility, tension, and chronic tension. So a muscle that never releases is a bone that's saying, or a joint in your skeleton saying, I need help to be realigned. so that the muscle can relax. And then of course, pain. So these are all signs of your body calling out for help.
So we get baby steps.
Yes.
We get a little baby steps. And if we don't run to medication, which dulls the pain, we can work with our own bodies and realign it and get relief from the pain.
So we're actually not designed to age with pain. And we're not designed to become more immobile with age. We're not designed to actually lose height and shrink. The shrinkage is a sign that your muscles are straining to hold your joints together, and it's doing a really good job. And I used to kind of curse my pain, and now and my inflexibility, and now I know that they are all just my body's messages to tell me to pay attention to something. The problem was I didn't know how to answer. The only way I knew how to answer was with more attention, doing and exercise. And our bones are our being part of our muscular skeletal system, or the way I like to think about it is as our skeletal muscular system. The bones are the yin and the muscles are the yang, and we're really good at doing. And being is not as easy, because when we are trying to help ourselves, we want to do something, and that word do in our heads, when we translate it to our human bodies, almost every time we've done something with our body, we've contracted a muscle. And what I teach is how to uncontract, how to re-elasticize muscles that have been contracted and don't realize they're contracted, and release them. So it's kind of why posture is a trap, because if we do posture, we're contracting muscles to get into these postures, but all bad posture is a lot of contraction. So you're actually working against yourself. And so I have people come into class and we're teaching them how to release muscles to get into a position. It's a very different experience, but it's totally doable. And this is the paradigm that my teacher in Paris set up, that the bones can take on more work. And I can just step you through a little exploration to help you kind of explore yourself, where bones can do more work versus muscle. And we'll just do it with the neck, because you can see my neck right now. So it'll be easy.
Perfect.
So a lot of times, I'm just gonna go on the side. At the computer, we end up getting our head really stuck out because everything's in front of us.
Right.
And so when that happens, when the head comes forward to look up, a lot of times we're lifting our chin. So if you're not in that position already, hopefully you're not, go ahead and just
like when we're even looking down at our cell phone, we're like this.
Right, the head's out and then the chin's up. So go ahead and take your chin up and feel in the back, there's muscles that tighten.
There's really definitely tension in the back.
Really high up by the skull.
Yes.
So if you just even take your chin down, of course, you're not going to be able to look at your computer like this, but if you take your chin down, you can feel where
an elongation
start to elongate, and that hardness will go away, but then it will soften, and then actually will become firm again through the lengthening. So like if you had an elastic band, which actually I have my hairband right here, when you lengthen it, it actually has a firm toneness around it, about it, and that's what we're trying for. So we're getting tone without tension. So go ahead and feel that again. So you can lift your chin and just feel how high up. The muscles that actually create the chin lift, that's what's contracting. And what we want to do is uncontract those muscles. And another way of thinking about it is that taking the chin down. And then you can think of backing the chin up into your neck, which will actually tilt your head down and eyes down so that you can actually look up. So it goes from here to something like that. And of course, we can all do that. We can contract our way into that also. But the focus isn't contracting any new muscles, but releasing the contraction that was existing. So there's a little taste of.
I'm feeling an elongation in my neck, in the back, but interestingly enough, these muscles right here, I'm feeling them release.
Yay. And really, that's what we're teaching. We're teaching people awareness, because where we're chronically tight is where we've disconnected. chronic tension is our mental disconnection from our bodies. And relaxation is where you can start reconnecting. And that's really the if you break it all the way down to the mind-body connection of the spirituality of practices like yoga, this is the crux of it. So even in meditation, when we meditate, we quiet the mind so that we can quiet all the contractions that are related to tense thoughts that we have. And then when the relaxation happens, it helps if you, however you get relaxation, however you get relief, body work, even glasses of wine or a hot tub, then what you want to do is think of, okay, to hang on to the relaxation so it doesn't, the pain or the tension doesn't come back, you have to think, how do I get a bone back in place to take on the work that that muscle just released? And so that's what this part was. So we release the muscle, but now we're going to back the bones up to take on the workload. And so it's just an everyday awareness practice, and it's a presence practice. So for everyday life, it's kind of like an awake meditation.
Yes. So I love that you equated this to meditation because, you know, you hear in meditation and in yoga, which has a lot of meditative properties to it, to get into a position where, you know, you're straightening your spine, where you're in alignment, but no one explained it to me the way you just explained it.
Yeah.
So
same for me. Like well, across the board with almost every meditative practice, and maybe there are some out there, but that don't have it, but almost every meditative practice that I've encountered, there is some direction with the spine. And one of the kind of main goals of meditation is to get more flow of energy, and relaxation helps flow. But if the direction you're given is straighten your spine, what's the first thing most people do?
You contract your back.
Yeah, we do good posture, which is basically the trap, and it's one of the main problems with achieving good posture. So you can't actually contract muscles to get good posture. And I try not to bring up posture for students who haven't taken classes, because if you come in mind that you want good posture, you're already closing off half of your possibilities, because all our ideas of posture are through contraction. And so if you think you know the answer through contraction, it's like half as hard for me to teach you what I'm trying to teach you, which is the opposite, relaxation.
Right.
So in meditation,
it's what we've learned, right? It's what we've learned. And because our head knows it, we have muscle, we literally do have muscle memory, and we automatically just go back to that without even initiating it from our mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
And actually the word muscle memory is so interesting, because you only have muscle memory that's only there if you have chronic tension, which means you only have muscle memory when you're been somehow misaligned. Because when things are in balance, there is no memory. The memory is balance. So the muscles and bones work together. It's the yin yang. It's even. It's clear. It's got flow, because what stops flow is muscle tension. If you think of energetic flow as a mirror, it's mirrored physically by blood flow. When a muscle is contracting in your back or in your shoulder or in your neck and it's holding all the time, think of all the blood vessels that are going through those muscles. They're just getting squeezed the whole time. It is a form of stress. And so one of the ideas of meditation is to release and get flow. First blood flow, but then energy flow. And then you can reach these enlightened states. And if you are tightening your back to achieve flow, you are already taking a step in the opposite direction. And it doesn't mean that your meditation isn't helpful. It still is helpful, but it just means you have to undo another layer before you get to that layer. So to a relaxation. And it's true of everything. So as you learn more spinefulness, my pain went away almost all the pain went away in the first 6 weeks. And there was 2 kind of residual longer term pains that I had. And luckily I was pretty young, so the pain I had, the longer you've had it, the longer it takes to unwind it. But it took about 6 or 8 months for the other 2 to go away. But I've been practicing this ever since, because I know by increasing flow, I'm increasing vitality and flexibility and mobility. I'm getting all those back. I'm regaining height. But the best part is that it allows me these flow states, and both outside of meditation, but in meditation, or just even sitting. You can have sitting be these yummy experiences where you actually feel the divinity that's in your bones when that flow happens.
Full disclosure, I took a weekend class with Jenn. And I went in there thinking I was going to learn how to, well, we did talk about we were going to learn how to sit. So I was like, okay, this is cool because I'm at a computer so much for my job. And then I thought, oh, this is going to be great because when I have this thing in my hand, I won't, I'm going to learn how to have it in my hand. But it was so much more than that. It was an awareness that there are 24 hours in the day, and you could be misaligned while you are sitting, while you are walking, while you are sleeping. It's even driving in the car can be a relaxing, it's stressful enough to deal with all that's going on out there on the road, but you can put yourself in a position where you are setting yourself up to be relaxed. And I even got a cushion that goes behind my back while I'm driving. And my favorite is I will have to say, I do forget during the day when I'm working, because you just get so engrossed, but I do catch myself, like, I'll end up here. I'm like, why am I here? And then I, bring myself back into alignment. But the sleeping, the yumminess that I get sleeping now, the restorative sleep, I never wake up with a kink, a pain, an ache, because I start off in the right position. And it's so much easier when you roll over or do whatever, when you wake up in the middle of the night, to then regain that position. And what a difference it makes in your day. So.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah. So the whole thing of this work is that, you could easily take it into where posture is. There's a right, there's a wrong, but just the whole idea of right and wrong is it's tensing. And so the way I like to have people hold this spinefulness is that every time you practice, so we're going to be in the computer and have tense and have stress, and our bodies will react. But when you have times in your day that you just take a moment and just practice just for a moment, you're just giving yourself a mini massage in that moment. Mm-hmm. And then in class, of course, you come and learn to break down the different parts of the body and find the alignments where you can find these yummy moments, not just in sleep, but in all the time parts of your life. So if you don't have pain, then it means you're closer to balance. We're just looking for balance. And if you don't have pain, you can find the balance in your exercises. But it's looking for not just contraction, but relaxation and contraction, and finding that yin yang balance in your body. And if you want to learn a little bit more, I do have a TED Talk that just came out. I did it in November to about 1,000 people, which is terrifying because actually it's terrifying to me that I have to teach this stuff, because I just took it for my own pain, and I realized, and I'm like terrified to be in front of groups. I'm terrified to public speaking, but I have this information that belongs to everyone, and everyone should know how to use their bones, and just different things we've learned has sent us off the wrong direction. So now I have this, I think, this responsibility to humanity to help them experience the joy and the vitality that our bodies are designed to have. And so the TED Talk is one way. You can just start listening to, I repeated some of the things like my background that was in that TED Talk, but I teach you there how to relax your quadriceps. And I have, you can always come and sign up for an in-person class, privates or groups, and I have online classes that are starting as well now. So
you are, for privates and groups, you're located in California?
Yes, I'm in Palo Alto, California, and I do travel to teach. I travel to the East Coast, which is where you
Where we
have my
were, yes.
classes. Yes, and I've taught at Esalen Institute for the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. I should go back and count. And I have studio retreats, and I'll come if people. You just find 10 people, and I'll come to you when my
Fabulous.
travel is available. So.
And then for those that can't travel, when you mentioned online, it would be a Zoom for
Yes,
personal
we can
or
Zoom. I have on my website, I have a online streamable $10 sitting class. And so that's just, I mean, if you're online at night and you just want to learn how to sit and release some tension in your sitting position, you can go there. Actually, there's 2 lessons. And then right now I'm teaching some new Zoom classes, which is new territory for me. And it's amazing. It's amazing how I thought it's kind of cool. I get to reach people in places that are far away. And it's amazing how much benefit people are getting just through online, the magic of online connection.
I'm excited because we do live a country away from each other. So I get more access to you now on a weekly basis. So I really, really, really appreciate that. And absolutely, for sure, if you're in pain, there's a blockage of your energy because you can't not focus on that pain. So just to let everyone know that honestly, when your body is relaxed, your mind can be more relaxed. You are definitely more in touch with the present moment because you're not focused on something internal at that point. You can be aware of what's happening in the present moment. And your spirit can be more free because when you don't have to worry about your body, your spirit can be more free. And the spirituality, honestly, it has upped the ante for my meditations tenfold because, you taught us how to be relaxed, not do relaxed. So thank you for that.
More human doing relaxedness.
Exactly. Just another thing to do while you're trying to meditate. No. So you freed that up. So
no, and the spine, I mean, our verticality as humans, it is what sets us apart from animals. And so it's so important to have a vertical spine, but a spine that's tight isn't vertical because you're quote unquote straight when you're relaxed. And when you're not relaxed, you have kinks in your system. And those kinks, we know how to help you get rid of them and get more flow into your, not just your spine, but it helps everything in your life.
It's amazing. I'm sure everybody's going to be very interested in finding out more information that you have to share. So I will be posting how everyone can get in touch with you along with this video.
Yep. Or you can just go spinefulness.com. It's spelled right there.
There you go. Spinefulness.com. It's like mindfulness, but it's spinefulness. And it is transformative. It's a revolutionary idea for people who literally never knew any of the mechanics of the body. I mean, no wonder you're a mechanical engineer, right? You are so in tune with the mechanics of the body. And it's such a revolutionary concept that you can help yourself and you can be healthier as you age. And I guess really if quality of life defines your life, what you're doing is you're giving people just such a better quality of life that it's
you can actually sit your way out of back pain. Sitting can be totally restorative, and as can standing, and it's totally, everyone has bones, so it's accessible to everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jen, for joining us today. I treasure all of your insights and all of your wisdom, and it has been such an informative half hour for us all. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kim, for this opportunity. And it's always fun to spread the word that people can feel better. So a beacon of hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for everyone watching, I want to thank you for joining us in this flagship episode of the Happiness Retreat. Thank you for that too, Jen, for for providing me with such a great way to kick off this entire series. And I hope you all have gotten some inspiration, some motivation, some guidance, and some more clarity in how you are connecting with your soul, with your energy, and how to become a master of both. So thank you, thank you. And until next time, see you then. Bye.
Bye.